Dr. Roger Heath, Director of the Men's Achievement Center at North Carolina Central University, the greatest HBCU on the planet, a hometown native of Monroe, North Carolina. Well, I know just working in this field, working with black males, minority males, this is a job. I mean, this is one of those things, either you have the heart to do it, or you in for the photo op, or are you trying to get paid off these young men? We know black men, minority men are one of the most researched population in the world. I mean, we look at pipeline to prison, we look at mental health, we look at sports, athletics. The United States, a lot of this financial wealth has been built off the backs of black men. For me, I never thought you see myself as Dr. Roger Heath, but I remember I graduated high school with a 1.9 GPA. My mother had me when she was about 21, so I'm the second oldest child, the first boy from my mom. My father was around about 18 when she met him. Monroe, North Carolina, small chicken plant. Great city when I was growing up, so I thought, being young, you don't know the stuff behind the scenes. We're home with Jesse Helms and Robert Williams, and so it's a great historical place. But it's a place that will keep you down if you don't make it out, right? And so for me, I'm an open book when I meet these young men. And so for me, growing up in Monroe was a beautiful thing, but it was a gift and a curse. Played sports, I was a jock. My grandparents raised me. My mom kind of did her thing, we didn't see eye to eye. She kind of got into the street life. Bad boyfriends took her down different paths that, I really don't understand, but as a grown man now, I see that life was different back then. And so for me, I always had one foot in the school. I knew I wanted to do great because my grandparents had me in church. They had me doing things, but I also was in the streets, But one thing about me, I never sold drugs, crack cocaine anyway. Like most young boys, you dibble with marijuana and stuff. I remember trying to sell drugs and trafficking marijuana from North Carolina to South Carolina, just being crazy and realizing if I would ever got caught, I wouldn't be standing in front of this camera now. So I remember the first time I was about 16, smelling myself, and my friend tried to give me some crack to sell. And so I remember going out on that corner, 3 a.m. He was with me, and I didn't know what I was doing. And this lady came up, and I never forget it. And so she had this PlayStation. It was Nintendo. She had Nintendo she was trying to sell me. And that took me back to that moment where I remember one time I had a Christmas and my mom had bought me a Nintendo. The next day I woke up, it was gone because she had habits. So, she sold a Nintendo. So I knew then I didn't want them young boys to have that feeling that I had when I was 8 years old, right? You wake up and that Nintendo gone. And so from ever since then, I never touched another drug in my life, and that was the breaking point because I didn't have the heart to do that to other people. So we fast forward, continue in high school. My senior year, my mom gets shot by her boyfriend, and I find her, got the call. When I get to the house, she's laying on the floor. They're trying to resuscitate her. I'm 17, 18 at this time, almost out of high school. Seen her laying there, took her to the hospital. Luckily, she made it. But through all this time, nobody ever thought about, let me get this young man some help. Nobody took me to counseling. I've seen my mom get abused by different boyfriends all my life. And nobody once said, get some counseling. So, I was an angry young man. And so I remember the time when I knew that I needed to get out of Monroe, North Carolina and chase my dreams. At a nightclub, typical weekend, work Fridays, working in plants. You go to the store, get you a drink, drink of choice. So I'm drinking with the club, and this guy started, having some words with one of my good friends. And so they got into a big scuffle. It was a big fight. And the guy came, ran up in the club with the gun. He pulled the trigger about 2 to 3 times. Each time the gun jammed. So here I am, could have been dead on the spot. So I run out the back door, and this field is full of mud. So when I get to the car, I'm in clay mud up from my ankles all the way up to my waist because I'm trying to get out the building, don't even know what's going on, and just realize like I could have been dead. So as I get ready to get into my car, one of my good friends, Tyrus Rory, he had his football dream too. And he had been to JUCO, after JUCO, been to Cali. And I didn't know he was back in North Carolina at North Carolina Central. So this is around Christmas time. So I'm thinking he on Christmas break or something like that. And he grabbed me, he said, man, you need to get out of Monroe, man. You're gonna be dead and you're gonna be in jail. You ever thought about playing football again? Because at this time we had went to Livingstone first, quit Livingstone, gave that college thing a try, didn't work out. And he grabbed me, he said, man, come back to Central. So I get home that night, on a hangover. I wake up the next morning, I'm laying in the bed, and it's going in my head. He's saying, man, you need to go back to school. So I got up that next day, I went to the public library, and I rented the SAT for Dummies. So back then, we had these big block computers, right? It wasn't the flat screen, the laptops. So every night, I'm doing the SAT for Dummies and testing myself. So I finally went and took the SAT, and mind you, I graduated high school with 1.9 GPA. So when I got my test scores back then, Central would let you in, I think it was about 700. I think I got like a 704. And think about the coincidence, my area code is 704. I got a 704. So I called, I think Miss Luann Edmonds was the admissions counselor over there at admissions at the time. I called every day. Like, I need to come. So she let me come. They told me I was accepted. I had 2 bags and some wet clothes, man, and a Cadillac that I was paying monthly payments on. And I just came to Durham. I didn't even know what Durham looked like. I just came to Durham with these wet clothes, 2 suitcases, and I think my grandmother maybe gave me about $50 or so to take with me. She hadn't been out of the state much herself. So I get to Durham, and I'm traveling, I'm here, and with no job. So here I am on a job with a car payment. And they calling me, and I said, y'all can have this car. I said, I'm about to go chase my dream. So I tried out for the football team, and when I got out there, I realized, I'm like, this football dream is over with. So I had to find other passions. And so coming to Central Gate, it changed my life because I met people from all around the world, trying to join a fraternity, just met lifelong friends. And so for me, just working in the Men's Achievement Center is like me making sure these young men don't make the mistakes that I made, or stepping in for the young men who don't have fathers, who may see me as an uncle, as a cousin, as a friend. Whatever they see me as, that's what I tell them. I don't care what you see me as long as you get to the finish line. And with North Carolina Central right now, only 28% of the campus is men right now. And so that shows you that's a problem. And so we have a 4-year program that's focusing on development of young men. And then we have our pitfalls, yes we do. Some men come, some stay, some on the fence, some we gotta work a little bit harder, and some come fully prepared. But that comes with the bag, right? So everything in this bag of tricks that we have, we gotta use it all. So I don't try to put all young men in the same box because it ain't gonna work for all of them. And so this program is lifelong brotherhood, right? We creating pipelines to jobs. We finding opportunities for these young men. We calling people like, give these young men a chance. Because the biggest thing for a black male is once you remove the barriers and you find out their true passion, they going for it, whatever that is. And that's why you see so many young men play sports, because that's the only thing that has to give them a feeling, people cheering, people showing up on their autograph. But there's other passions in the world that we can put in their head. And so here at the Men's Achievement Center, the African American Male Initiative, that's my goal. And we just added a Latino aspect, right? I started seeing all these Latino kids on campus, and I realized that the day that we can get minority males, Latinos, Asians, Indians together as one, we can even be even more powerful. And so I've saw the Latino population grow as well, just by finding a place for them to be. So this program is gonna be here. These are lifelong friendships. And we're gonna be able to take this to the next level. And so all I ask my guys to show up and be prepared. Learn to make yourself better, because me coming from a 1 point GPA to Dr. Heath, that was a long journey. And what I did, I never gave up. You know, I had pitfalls when I came to Central. I was even kicked out of Central once, but I had to get myself together. But when I got kicked out, it made me realize I had never had counseling, and I was harboring all those feelings. So in this program, we just providing services to these young men. We're gonna have these tough conversations, late night, early mornings. And so I gotta thank my wife and my son, because I give a lot of my personal time to North Carolina Central and this campus. My wife, LaToya, has always been in my back. And she gets on me some days when she tell me you need to unwind, so if you're not healthy, you can't be healthy to your young men. And so my son is another piece. You know, we go out and play and wrestle. So I have to show him that, son, daddy's working, but when I'm off, I'm all yours. So if these young men call in the middle of the time that I'm dealing with him, oftentimes I won't give them my full attention. I'll say, call me back. But at North Carolina Central, the Men's Achievement Center is here to stay. We're gonna boost the rate of black male development, Latino males. We're gonna go heavy and recruit similar to coaches. We partner with local schools. We just created a partnership for the LA Promise, which is in South Central LA, trying to get some of them brothers out of South Central LA. And so I call myself the Eddie Robinson of black male development. So, you know, Eddie Robinson, one of the most winningest coaches in football. So I want to be I want to be that guy who has the highest retention, who's produced the most successful black men, minority men in the country. So look out for us. The Men's Achievement Center is here to stay. Dr. Heath, this is my work, this is my research, this is my life. So we ready?